So I thought I'd do another video about focusing. What you find is I have people come to my talks, and what happens once you talk to them and you find out a bit about them, you'll find invariably that what's happened is they've engaged in a lot of different practices. So, they'll have done stuff like EFT, Reiki, looked into non-duality, done a bit of Zikr, followed a path, maybe a teacher, a method, or whatever. And, they go from method to method to method. And what happens is that by the time you kind of bump into them, they kind of pretty much know everything about pretty much everything. um what's missing is they're still looking, they're still seeking. That's the bit that doesn't make sense, because they seem to know everything and they know it all intellectually and everything. And it was something that we discussed at last Friday's talk. And what I find is a lot of people are kind of becoming players of many and masters of none. So what happens is they go to a certain school or a certain approach or technique or the method, and they'll have some experiences and all be very nice and blissful. And then when it starts getting a bit agitating, when they start digging a bit deeper, or they start going further down the path, invariably it causes some agitation. So what happens? Invariably we jump ship, we go on to the next thing. And then we feel really, really nice and stuff until it gets uncomfortable and we jump on to the next thing. So what happens is we never really kind of, in a sense, really kind of get to the essence of what we are, because when you're going to truly face yourself, to see yourself for what you are, then invariably there's going to be good parts of you, there's going to be bad parts of you, and you have to face both. Most people aren't willing to do that, again, because of the fact that they've been sold this thing as being all blissful and nice feelings. So when something bad happens, or the mind starts thinking, or certain issues come up, or the ego flares up or whatever, or they find that there's some resistance to actually kind of getting to where they need to get to, what you find is that then it gets all a bit too uncomfortable. So we then blame the method, the teacher, or something, and then we move on. So what you're finding is people are kind of moving from one space to another, to another, to another, and invariably accumulating a lot of information, but not really going anywhere, and not really, in a sense, traveling. Like, in a sense, picking and choosing and tasting this. And this is probably a bit of a problem, because of the fact that we have such a spiritual supermarket, and we have such a mindset, in the sense that we couldn't really, even if we want to dedicate ourselves to one teacher or one approach. We kind of want to mix and match. We believe in the whole idea that you know there isn't anything that we can do to actually wake up, and yet we then try and chart a course of our own choosing across different methods. And as long as it makes me feel okay, then that's great. And then you wonder why you're still looking. You have to take the rough with the smooth, and rather than becoming a player of many instead of a master of none, why not just take an approach? It's something I always say. I go, look, regardless of whichever approach you use to get to wherever you need to get to, or to deepen the realization that you are that which you are, you have to stick at something. You have to, in a sense, you know, make a decision as to what you really want. If you're one of those people who wants to kind of go from talk to talk to talk, and it's really lovely, it's like drinking a glass of wine, then recognize that, and please don't make statements like you're looking to go free. But if you're looking to go free, wherever you are, stop right there and go deeper into that experience of what you actually are. Or if you're on a path or you have a teacher, then follow that teacher or that path to its logical conclusion, regardless of what may come up. So for that, you need to really kind of focus your efforts. This scattergun approach to, oh, I think I want to wake up, so I'll go here, but oh, I didn't quite like that, and I want to go here and there. It ain't going to work. Remember, it all invariably comes back to you. You can't escape from yourself. But it's amazing how many people are actually trying to escape themselves, because there's still, even with the moving from one school to another, to another, to another, there's still that agitation going on. It's one of the reasons, I suppose, it was probably a bit more successful back in the old days, because people would take on a teacher, and the teacher would teach them through thick and thin until they got to a destination. Now, because of the accessibility of information, and to texts, and to teachers and retreats and seminars, I mean, there's literally one popping up every single day. What you find is people are, in a sense, almost sport for choice, and it just allows them to not actually truly see themselves, because again, they can find another crutch, another toy, another thing to kind of keep them in that seeking. So if you're really kind of serious, if you're really serious about going free, then just stop, and actually, whatever you're doing, concentrate and focus on that, and get to where you need to get to. Yes, it isn't all a bag of roses. It's not going to be brilliant. You are going to, as I've said in previous videos, have your ass handed to you. There is going to be pain, there is going to be suffering, but sometimes there's a wisdom there that instead of turning away from, or instead of turning away from, we go into, we may find that we'll get some nugget of information or something that can kind of just in a sense get you home. So whatever you're doing, and if your intention is to go free, then really focus on that intention. If it's a journey, then travel and keep traveling down that path and take that path or that method or that technique or that teacher to its logical conclusion. And if it's a deepening of you and saying I am that which I am, or however you wish to see it, and you're saying it's all here now, then deepen that and actually go into appreciation. Just because it gets uncomfortable, nobody ever said it was going to be easy. Just because it gets uncomfortable doesn't mean you have to jump ship. Sometimes it's in our distress and in our pain that most of our lessons are really learned. Everybody wants joy. It's funny how nobody wants the other side of it, which is the pain and suffering. And yet that pain and suffering can actually, set you free. That initial moment of agitation was actually a horrible feeling. It wasn't anything blissful. You didn't get up and, ooh, I feel really blissed and I want to find myself. It's like, ow, something I feel is missing. And the wisdom of that piece of agitation has got you to this point. So whatever you're doing, focus and really try and find your way home. Identify what it is that you want. Stick to what you've got. Take it to the nth degree. Take it to its logical conclusion. And one day then, however you decide to see it, however it comes to you, because remember at the end of the day, another point, it is your story. It is your legend that you're unfolding, as Rumi said. You'll find what you're looking for.